What's up guys, Clayton Fioriti here, and today I wanted to talk about an earlier version of one of my favorite Godzilla movies. These are the monsters that were originally supposed to fight the giant dinosaur in GMK. So if you've seen GMK before, or Godzilla, Mothra and King Ghidorah, Giant Monsters All-Out Attack, as it's formerly known, you know all about how insane that movie's plot is. Basically, the original Godzilla that was killed in 1954 returns to Japan in 2001. Only this time, he's actually possessed by the vengeful and restless souls of those who were killed by the Japanese military during World War II. And they didn't exactly bring Godzilla back to life just to accept any apologies. No, this movie would see a modern-day Japan try to wrestle with the literal monster from their past. And in order to do so, the government would need a little bit of outside help through 3 protective guardian monsters. Now, in the final version of the film, these guardian monsters are Mothra, King Ghidorah, and Baragon. But in the original version of this movie's script, they were actually supposed to be Varan, Anguirus and Baragon, which logically speaking makes a hell of a lot more sense when you actually start to think about it. You see, the reason Mothra and King Ghidorah were thrown into this movie was actually far less related to their importance in the film's story and much more having to do with basic marquee value. After the disappointing ticket sales for Godzilla vs. Megaguirus, Toho thought that their newest Godzilla movie needed some hard-hitting monsters that everyone knew and loved in order to sell. So putting Mothra and King Ghidorah in there was the safest call to make on a story level. However, in retrospect, this doesn't really make a lot of sense if you know even just a little bit about these monsters' backstories. Sure, Mothra has always been depicted as something of a savior, but she's kind of always had her own island, people, and ideals to look after when compared to the others. And King Ghidorah being a savior of planet Earth is absolutely insane for anyone that knows the bare minimum about the character. This guy is supposed to be an evil space dragon from outer space. Why would he care about saving Japan at all? Well, because money, that's why. Luckily for us, Baragon actually did get to make it into the film, and it turned out really great. In fact, just a little side bit of information here, this was actually the first time that I had ever seen Baragon in a movie. And in my opinion, his redesign and overall usage in the story made the absolute most sense. You see, with the filmmaker's original intention of having 3 guardian monsters being set out to save Japan, the physical consistencies and reptilian nature of their general appearances really went a long way for me. Having 3 relatively dinosaur-looking monsters represent the Japanese elements of wind, ice, and fire was a truly novel idea, and one that I actually think would have made for a genuinely entertaining battle. Director Shusuke Kaneko prepared a number of awesome-looking monster models for use in the film, and these new redesigns of Baragon, Anguirus, and Varan really do elicit a sense of consistency that makes the movie's plot a whole lot more interesting, in my personal opinion. Now again, I actually really love GMK, and it's in my top 10 favorite Godzilla movies, but just imagine how awesome the film would have been if it had committed to redesigning Varan and Anguirus for the film instead of Mothra and King Ghidorah, 2 monsters that show up in damn near every Godzilla movie every 5 years or so. But anyways, those are all just my own thoughts on the subject matter. What do all of you guys think? Are you fans of this earlier version of the GMK script? And what do you think about these redesigns of the classic Toho monsters? By the way, if you haven't seen this movie, do yourself a favor and watch it immediately. You will not be disappointed. Now, whatever your own thoughts and opinions happen to be, I'd love to hear them in the comments down below.